welcome to another episode of Bridge the Channel. It's an extra super special summer edition where we take a bit of a step back from the everyday stuff, like the running issues of European and global geopolitics, and we are going to take a look forward into what we should be expecting, what are the main political and geopolitical developments that we should be expecting after the summer. There's loads of stuff going on currently, but I also hope that right now most of you are taking the time to take a bit of much needed rest ahead of what proves to be a very hot autumn and winter. So let's go see and have a look at some of the major trends, some of the major events that we're going to be talking about in the coming months. It's the great summer edition of Bridge the Channel. So one major issue that I think we're going to see becoming much more important in Western politics and geopolitics even in the coming months and years is the green transition and climate. Of course, here in the UK, it's only been a few weeks since we had one by-election to be precise, determined by a green issue, by a climate issue, namely attacks on cars that shifted an election result in favor of the Conservatives. And all over Europe and perhaps also in the United States, of course it has been the case in the United States for many years now, the environment and climate and the cost of the green transition will be becoming much more apparent. Of course, at the same time, we're still in a summer that has been a very, very hot summer with major heat waves and also forest fires across the Mediterranean. So in a way, voters are now feeling the effects of climate change in both directions. On the one hand, they do see the negative effect of climate change, but on the other hand, they also see the effect of paying for the green transition, particularly within a context of high inflation and economic recession and high energy costs. I think one flashpoint in the coming months will be the Netherlands, where we're going to have an election in November that will probably be mostly about climate issues, and perhaps this will be a sign of things to come. More and more elections determined on the question of the climate transition. Who pays for it, how much they pay for it, and how fast it should be. Keep an eye on this issue, because this is probably something that's going to be very, very important moving forward, not least for the 2024 European elections. I think one of the main geopolitical stories to watch after the summer is going to be the development of the relations between the US and China. We have spent most of the past year talking about how things were becoming hotter and hotter, pertaining particularly to Taiwan, as well as rising geo-economic competition with various trade measures and countermeasures between the two countries. But also leading up to the summer, we have also seen some movements towards de-escalation, with visits of American officials to China, for example, and efforts to coordinate actions between the two countries on climate and as well as on economic governance. Now, of course, the US-China relationship never takes place in a vacuum. It takes place within an overall context of the war in Ukraine, economic climate in the US. We're also gearing up for a presidential election in the US, where, of course, China is going to be one of the major topics between Democrats and Republicans. Of course, one topic that we should keep our eyes on is Taiwan, because this is the one topic that on its own can actually cause the situation to flare up again. Definitely the mood music in US-China relations is better than it was a few months ago. Perhaps by the time you're reading these things, watching these things might have already changed again in this direction. But I think we're heading up to a pretty relaxed winter, not least because also in the United States, the government has every incentive to make sure that the global economy is moving without major crisis. So US-China relationship, always something to watch, and always something perhaps to watch with a slightly more sense of optimism than in months prior. So this was a special edition of the Bridge the Channel. Again, coming to you, trying to kind of Not to keep you too much worried, we try to keep things slightly optimistic, but also slightly alerting you to some future challenges as you make plans for after the summer. We will be back, of course, after the summer with our normal flow of shows talking about geopolitics and politics cutting across the West, the transatlantic space, and European politics as they unfold. Wherever you are, hope you take good care of yourself and enjoying these peaceful days. Hopefully, peaceful days wherever you are. Until next time, take care.